Dreaming of owning a farmhouse in Italy, but assuming it's far beyond your budget? Well, think again. Today I'm showing you 6 incredible Italian farmhouses that offer remarkable value. And yes, some of them start at just $50,000. But here's the real surprise. These aren't collapsing ruins or massive renovation projects. Most of these homes are described as move-in ready, or close enough that you could start living the Italian countryside life without pouring a fortune into repairs. So if you've been holding back because you thought owning a place in Italy was too expensive, stick around, because the reality might be far more affordable than you think. And trust me, the last 2 properties completely changed my expectations. Let's set the frame first. We're talking rural Italy with its hillside farmhouses, stone casali, and traditional 2-level homes in places where your nearest neighbor is a vineyard or a lake. The game here isn't just price per square meter, it's life per euro. Light, space, fresh air, a garden, a cellar, a fireplace, and still being close enough to a town that you're not stranded. That's the filter. That's how we're judging these. And just so we're grounded, prices are as listed at the time of this roundup. Listings move fast in this market, and always check documents and local fees before you commit to anything. Okay, let's go. First up, we're in Tuscany. And not just any corner of Tuscany. We're talking Caprese Michelangelo in the Arezzo province, a small historic hamlet tucked into the same landscape that produced, and this is not a metaphor, Michelangelo himself. Soft hills, stone villages, the kind of place that makes you feel like history is just part of the air. And the price is 49,000 euros. Wow, that's about $54,000. For that, according to the listing, you get 87 square meters. That's 936 square feet of semi-detached stone house sitting right in the heart of a historic hamlet. The exterior is exactly what you're picturing. Original stonework, a building that has been standing long enough to know what it's doing. Inside, the ground floor has 2 garages and a service room. Up on the first floor, there's a kitchen and living room, plus a bathroom. And on the second floor, 2 bedrooms. It's a proper, livable layout. But here's what makes this one genuinely special. The character is still intact. Original terracotta floors, wooden ceiling beams, double glazed windows throughout. This isn't a place that's been stripped out and modernized into blandness. The bones are real, and they're beautiful. Now let's be honest with you, because that's why you're here. The listing says good condition and readily habitable, and it means that heating is sorted too, with a wood-burning stove and electric radiant panels already in place. It even comes furnished. This isn't a project, it's a place you could actually move into. And in terms of location, yes, it's a hamlet, but a grocery shop and a restaurant are just 2 kilometers away. The town of Caprese Michelangelo is 4 kilometers out. San Sepolcro is 30 minutes. Florence is 2 hours. You're not on the moon. You're in Tuscany, real Tuscany, in a stone house with terracotta floors for $54,000. But hold on, because the next one has a private garden, sits in a full hilltop village, and costs just a few $1,000s more. We drop down into Umbria now, Fabro, in the province of Terni. Umbria sits at the geographic heart of Italy, a landlocked region of forested hills, medieval villages, and some of the country's most underrated countryside. And it's exactly where deals like this tend to hide. 69,000 euros, around $80,000. Semi-detached farmhouse, 2 levels, 100 square meters, 1,076 square feet. The ground floor has 2 rooms used as cellars, a woodshed with fireplace, and a storage room. The first floor has a living room with kitchenette and a ventilated fireplace, a corridor, 2 bedrooms, and a bathroom with a bathtub. Here's the key line from the listing. This property is described as structurally sound. That matters. And then there's the detached garden, 600 square meters, or about 6,400 square feet. Not a balcony, not a shared courtyard, over 6,000 square feet of outdoor space that's yours. The vibe here is a proper working countryside home with real bones, close to local services. It's a step up in usability from the Tuscan option, and for only 4,000 euros more. That's the deal kicker. Location, structure, and that garden, all confirmed by the listing. If you want more finds like this, hit subscribe, because next region we go even more affordable. But first, we stay in Umbria, and the next property just leveled up the character game completely. Quick breath. Umbria in general has this incredible quality of light in late afternoon. Soft gold across the valleys, medieval hill towns visible from almost every ridge. Internet access has improved enormously in rural Umbria over the past few years. Remote workers have noticed. Okay, back to the deals. Panicle, Perugia province, 70,000 euros, $81,400. Now this one is something else for the price. Semi-detached, 2 levels, 75 square meters, just over 800 square feet. The ground floor has an eat-in kitchen and a living room with a French window opening onto a shared courtyard. Upstairs, 2 double bedrooms and a bathroom. So far, solid. But here's what makes this property different from the first two, and why I'd call it a step up in pure character. Wooden beams, internal pointed stone walls, antique terracotta flooring. The listing describes it as having a strong, typical Umbrian character. And those materials, the beams, the stone, the terracotta, are what people spend money trying to recreate in renovation projects. Here they're original. And the best part is, you're a few minutes from the historic center of Panicle, Bina, which means you've got actual town access, cafes, a piazza, daily life. You're not isolated. You're countryside with culture right there. This one is the new leader at 70,000 euros. But now I'm about to show you what happens when the price goes up just slightly and the square footage more than doubles. The Marche region. Tucked between the Apennine Mountains and the Adriatic Sea, La Marche is one of those Italian regions that locals have quietly loved for decades. Rolling hills, unspoiled coastline, and medieval towns that somehow never made it onto the tourist circuit. San Severino Marche, Macerata province, 75,000 euros, $87,200. The listing describes the main house as 200 square meters. That's over 2,150 square feet, with a courtyard of 400 square meters, roughly 4,300 square feet. And there's a critical detail here. The property was seismically refurbished after the 2016 earthquake using modern technologies. So you've got a structurally updated building. The listing does note it needs redecoration to bring it to today's standards. So there's cosmetic work ahead, but according to the listing, the bones are solid and the serious work has been done. The land has olive trees and fruit trees. The position is described as very panoramic, and access is described as very easy. Now here's the deal kicker that genuinely changes the context. 5 minutes away is the Lake of Singoli, with restaurants and water sports. 45 minutes to the seaside resort of Porto Recanati. You're in the mountains, but the sea is reachable. 2,150 square feet for 75,000 euros, seismically upgraded with lake access down the road. This is the new leader, but, and I really mean this, don't go anywhere because the next two properties are where this list completely breaks expectations. Fast pattern interrupt. The Marche coast is one of those places Italians themselves go on holiday. The Adriatic is right there. Ancona Airport connects you internationally. The infrastructure is better than the price tags suggest. Now, Frosinone province, and a 19th century casal that just changed the whole conversation. Casalatico? Frosinone. Frosinone sits in southern Lazio, a province of quiet mountain valleys and ancient hill towns that most international buyers haven't discovered yet, which is precisely why the prices here still make sense. 78,000 euros, $91,000. This one has a name, Casale Ciampiello, and the listing describes it as a lovingly restored 19th century farmhouse. Let me walk you through what that means in practice. 120 square meters, about 1,290 square feet, across 3 levels. The interiors, and this is according to the listing, feature parquet-style stoneware in an ash-colored finish that the listing describes as giving the place a modern, stylish look. That's not the usual charming original condition language. That's a property that's had considered interior work done. Ground floor has an entrance, a tavern room, a small kitchen area, and a bathroom. First floor, the main living level, has a large living room and a 20 square meter kitchen, about 215 square feet, connected by an arch, which the listing says creates the option of a beautiful open plan living area. Second floor, 2 spacious bedrooms, 17 square meters, about 183 square feet, and 14 square meters, about 150 square feet, sharing a bathroom with tile inlays, plus 2 small balconies with panoramic views. There's also a 15 square meter cellar, roughly 161 square feet, with its original 19th century stone structure intact. Now the listing is honest. It needs modest updates and finishing, and the heating system isn't established. So that's the compromise. Finishing touches and heating still to sort. But construction is described as complete. And here's the deal kicker that makes this genuinely different from everything else on this list. It sits about 100 kilometers from Rome, Naples, and Latina, 1 hour by motorway. You're in the peaceful Val di Comino Mountains, pure countryside tranquility, and 3 major Italian cities are an hour away. That is an extraordinary location advantage for 78,000 euros. It's not a museum, it's real life. Ideal for a family, a creative project, or honestly, a slow travel accommodation business, given the proximity to Rome tourists looking for authentic rural escapes. Comment below if you'd actually try that. But don't go yet, because the final property is in the north of Italy. Our last property today is just outside a small mountainside hamlet in the Tuscan countryside, not far from San Sepolcro, one of those compact, perfectly preserved Renaissance towns that most tourists never find. And the price is 79,000 euros. That's about $87,000. For that, you get 60 square meters, 646 square feet, of rustic townhouse spread across 3 floors, plus 100 square meters of land outside, about 1,076 square feet, that the listing describes as ready to be landscaped into a garden. That's yours to do with what you want. Now, 3 floors and 60 square meters sounds tight on paper, but follow the layout. The basement holds a kitchen with a dinette, character built in from day one. The ground floor has a bedroom and a bathroom, and the top floor is another bedroom. It's vertical living, which in an old stone townhouse in Tuscany isn't a compromise. It's just how it works, and it works. And the finishes are the real story here. Wooden ceiling beams, ceramic floors, masonry fireplaces, plural. The roof was redone in 2015. The listing calls the structural condition excellent, and based on what's been maintained, there's no reason to doubt it. Heating is already installed via radiators. This is not a project property. This is a townhouse in excellent structural shape, with period details intact that you could actually use. Access is via a well-maintained unpaved road, just 300 meters. San Sepolcro is 9 kilometers away, 15 minutes. Arezzo is under an hour. Perugia Airport is just over an hour. For $87,000, you have a 3-floor stone townhouse with fireplaces, a garden plot, wooden beams, and Tuscany out the window. Prices are as listed at time of selection, and listings in this area move. So if this one is speaking to you, you know what to do. So let's land this. 6 Italian farmhouses, all under $115,000, all solid properties you can actually move into as described, or with only light work ahead. Here's how I'd sort them. If Umbrian character with original materials and a town on your doorstep is the pull, number 3 in Panacale is extraordinary value for 70,000 euros. If space is your priority, and over 2,000 square feet with lake access and a seismically upgraded structure is hard to argue with, number 4 in San Severino Marche is the practical winner. If the Rome escape fantasy is calling, with a finished 19th century casal and mountain air an hour from the capital, number 5 in Casalatico is a genuinely rare find for 78,000 euros. Now I want to know from you, which one would you actually pick? Drop it in the comments. The Tuscan private getaway, the Umbrian character house, the Marche 4-bedroom with the lake, the Rome distance casal, And if this kind of real-life deal hunting is your thing, subscribe. Next time we're going into a different region, and the prices get even more interesting.